were shaking as I adjusted the sleeves of my old grey suit. Not because of the cold, not because of my age, but because I knew what was coming. The wedding hall glittered with crystal chandeliers, white roses, and soft violin music. Everyone looked perfect, everyone except me, it seemed. Conversations hushed when I entered, then resumed with polite smiles and quiet whispers. I was Oliver, 68 years old, grey-haired, slightly hunched, and to them, invisible. Or so they thought. I took my seat in the second row, not the front. My son Daniel hadn't saved me a place there. He said it was better this way. Better for whom, I wondered. Daniel stood at the altar, tall and handsome in his tailored tuxedo. He looked proud, confident, nothing like the boy who once needed me to hold his hand just to cross the street. Beside him stood his fiancée, Vanessa. Beautiful, elegant, sharp-eyed, and cruel. She scanned the guests like a queen judging her court. When her gaze landed on me, her lips curved into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Then she laughed. Not loudly, not openly, just enough. She leaned toward her bridesmaids and whispered something. Their eyes flicked to me. One of them covered her mouth, another smirked. I knew that look. I'd seen it before, decades ago, when people assumed my worn shoes meant empty pockets, when silence was mistaken for weakness. Vanessa stepped forward to greet guests before the ceremony officially began. When she reached me, she paused. "Oh," she said, tilting her head, "you're Daniel's father, right?" I stood slowly. "Yes, Oliver." She glanced at my suit. "You didn't rent, did you?" A few people nearby chuckled. "I suppose not everyone understands dress codes," she continued sweetly, "but it's fine. This wedding is about us, not appearances." Her words landed like needles. Daniel shifted uncomfortably, but said nothing. That hurt more than her mockery. Vanessa turned away, dismissing me like furniture. I sat back down, heart pounding. I remembered the nights I worked late so Daniel could attend a better school, the sacrifices, the quiet pride, the belief that respect would come naturally. How foolish I had been. The ceremony began. Vows were exchanged, applause echoed. Vanessa smiled brightly, soaking in attention like sunlight. Then came the reception. Crystal glasses clinked, guests laughed, music filled the air. And then speeches. The best man spoke, funny stories, laughter. The maid of honor followed, emotional tears. Then Vanessa took the microphone. "I'd like to thank everyone," she said, her voice smooth and confident, "especially those who helped make this wedding possible." She paused. "My parents, of course, and Daniel, for finally stepping into the life he deserves." She smiled at him, then her eyes drifted slowly toward me. "And some people," she added lightly, "remind us where we come from and where we don't want to stay." Laughter rippled across the room. Daniel forced a smile. My chest tightened. Vanessa raised her glass to new beginnings and leaving the past behind. Everyone cheered. Everyone except me. I stood up. The room fell quiet. Daniel turned sharply. "Dad." I raised a hand. "I wasn't planning to speak," I said calmly, "but I think it's time." Vanessa blinked. "Is this necessary?" I smiled, very. I walked to the microphone. Each step felt heavy, yet certain. "I'm Oliver," I began, "Daniel's father." Polite nods followed. "I've been quiet my whole life," I continued, "not because I had nothing to say, but because I learned early that silence lets others reveal who they truly are." Vanessa crossed her arms. "I've been mocked today," I said gently, "for my clothes, my age, my presence." Some guests shifted uncomfortably. "But I'm grateful," I added, because moments like this show character. Vanessa scoffed. This is embarrassing. I turned toward her. Vanessa, I said softly, do you know how your company survived last year's financial collapse? Her smile froze. What? She snapped. Do you know who approved the emergency funding that kept your offices open? I asked. Daniel stared at me. Vanessa laughed nervously. You're confused. I reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out a slim folder. I own Blackwell Holdings, I said. The room went silent. Someone dropped a glass. That's impossible, Vanessa whispered. I founded it 30 years ago, I continued. I stepped away publicly but retained controlling interest. Her face drained of color. Blackwell Holdings, I said, owns 72% of your company. Murmurs exploded across the hall. Vanessa's hands trembled. You're lying. I opened the folder and placed the documents on the table beside her. Check the signatures, I said. They're mine. Daniel staggered back. Dad. I looked at him. I never wanted wealth to define me. I wanted respect to be earned. Vanessa collapsed into a chair. I watched you today, I continued. Mock a man you thought was beneath you, a man who could have ended your career with a phone call. Tears filled her eyes. But I didn't, I said, because this wasn't about power. I turned to the guests. It was about dignity. Silence. I raised my son to value kindness, I said. Today, I realized I failed to teach him courage. Daniel's eyes welled with tears. I'm sorry, he whispered. Vanessa stood abruptly. This wedding is over. She stormed out. The doors slammed. No music played. No applause followed. Just truth, heavy and unavoidable. Daniel approached me slowly. I didn't know, he said. Why didn't you tell me? I placed a hand on his shoulder. Because I wanted you to choose me, I said, not my money. He broke down, hugging me tightly. Guests quietly left. The hall emptied. That night, Vanessa resigned. The board accepted. Months later, Daniel moved into my modest home. He started over, slowly, honestly. As for me, I returned to my quiet life. Still wearing old suits. Still speaking softly. But now, when people look at me, they don't see weakness. They see a man who knows his worth. And that is more powerful than any company.